It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Jalen Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
And here we go, Monday, April 17, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. Ryan Ermanni back in the house today, in the saddle. Jalen Edwards out today. He'll be out today and tomorrow. We'll check in with him. Be back on Wednesday. The great Sam Flannel in his stead. Sam, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. I get to fill in on Ermanni and Edwards with Maz again. Is it Christmas? And I learned a lot from you about driving the show last week, so good to have you back.
What did you learn, Sam? Hopefully it wasn't too painful.
No, it was good. I mean, I learned how to transition. I learned how to have energy. That's the key. That is the key.
Energy.
That is the key to driving a show. You can't be laid back. You can't be monotone. You have to bring the energy and set the tone, and you always do a great job of that. So great to learn from one of the best.
Look at this guy. You can keep talking, by the way. You keep talking like that. You fill in anytime. Tom Mazawey, good afternoon to you.
Hey, Ryan, welcome back. Flannel, good to have you, boys.
Thank you.
It's good to be here. Another week closer to the draft. Here we go, boys. Another week closer to the draft. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in a little bit. Maz, you were down in Florida for a little bit, I understand.
Just a few days. Took Maddie down there for a little surprise with her girlfriend, and they had a great time. I got home last week, and it's good to have you back, brother.
You know what? A lot of people have been commenting on the tan today.
Nice tan. You're already peeling.
Already peeling. Just a couple of days home. I got home Saturday. And what's today? Monday? Already peeling. So I use this, one of the great parts about working here at Lady Jane's is the skin moisturizer. I walk in, and the ladies are like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm peeling all over the place. Beautiful ladies here at Lady Jane's. And they said, you got to try this stuff out. I said, well, what's the stuff? I said, is there a financial gain for me if I give a
plug?
No plugs. No financial
But they give you the lotion.
But they did give me the lotion. So I get this one hydrating cream, and I got this hyaluronic serum. I mean, it is a 5-step facial toolkit to repair my skin from the sun's rays.
I use the lotion every morning.
You get a daily facial cleanser, eye revival serum, a hyaluronic serum, multi-level hydrating cream, detox nightwear. I mean, come on. This skin is beautiful. This skin is beautiful.
You're gorgeous.
After that.
You're gorgeous.
Gorgeous. I'm telling you. It's amazing.
You can get that at any Lady Jane's.
You can get that at any Lady Jane's, and only at Lady Jane's.
It's called One.
Want to make mention of that. How is the bowling situation now? I got to get you caught up on bowling because Maz bought me lunch today, Sam.
Oh.
Maz bought me lunch today. I was like, what are you doing, Maz? Put your money away. It's a treat.
Because you always buy me.
Well,
so this time I had a couple extra bucks on me from bowling. We hit a couple of strike balls last week.
You hit a couple of turkeys?
I hit a couple of turkeys. Not me personally. I've been stinking, but my team's been picking me up. So
any
get this.
4-baggers?
No, not recently. I got to be honest with you. I've been sucking. Anyway, Thursday night, if we sweep the team we're playing, meaning we win all 3 games, we will win the championship. The second half championship.
What goes into the championship?
Well, all these weeks of bowling from September to now.
What are we talking about?
A lot of money.
Thousands?
Yeah, the split.
Hundreds?
Well, we pay a lot of money every week to bowl, and then whatever the hell's left over, they split up from first down to 20th.
What's the first?
It's an honor, man.
What's the first place?
I don't know really. I really don't know what the money is. I just want the trophy.
Bull crap.
I want the trophy.
Bull crap. You want the money.
No, I want the trophy.
You want the trophy over the money.
I want the trophy.
You want the trophy over the money.
Yeah.
You're a liar.
No, I want to win the championship. I always want to win the championship. I want to win at Euchre. I want to win at Monopoly. I want to win at War, at cards. I just want to win.
You are a liar, Earl. A liar.
I am not a liar.
There's nothing wrong with liking the money more than the trophy.
I want the trophy.
No, I understand. You like
the money's going to come.
Yeah.
Sam, what do you feel about this?
I mean, I would probably take the money over the trophy at this point because I could use as much as I can get as a newly married man, as you guys have all been through. I don't have any kids yet, but that day may be coming, so I definitely need to stack up as much as I can at this young age.
It is, man.
Chuck Brewer wants to know if I'm going to retire on my own private island. No, I can't change a quarter, Chuck. That's the truth.
I will tell you, like, being in Florida, how much money it now requires to spend any time in Florida. It is so expensive in Florida.
Sure is.
Anybody and everybody now goes to Florida. I don't know if it always was like this.
The people in Jersey and the people in Michigan own Florida.
It's all New York, New Jersey, Michigan, Ohio. It was crazy.
Yep.
The amount of people, the amount of construction, the amount of cost it is now in Florida. It's crazy, man.
Hey, man, you drive, and I landed at Orlando International Airport. Honestly, that's like it's one of the busiest airports I've ever been to, and I've been to Atlanta. This Orlando airport, people are just all over the place. There's nowhere to sit. It doesn't compare to our airport. Our airport here in Detroit, I think, is the best in the country.
I agree.
Hands down, best in the country. They didn't even have hand sanitizer at this other place. I just felt like I was in a third world country when I went to this Orlando International Airport.
I
couldn't wait to get the hell out of here.
We flew into Tampa, and again,
that's a little better.
A little bit better, but people all over the place.
Yeah.
Then we drove an hour to Siesta Key.
Yep.
And it was nonstop traffic.
Yes.
Nonstop construction. It took about an hour and 40 minutes to get there, which normally would have been an hour drive.
Did you go over the Sunshine Bridge?
Did.
How
Beautiful.
great is that bridge?
Beautiful.
But you're a little scared of heights.
I was, and I am still, and I was unsure about driving over that
Did you see the trop?
I did see the trop right
Love
next
the
to it.
trop.
I kind of wanted to hop in because
Love the
they
trop.
were playing there. And then also in Tampa, when I was there, was the
Lightning?
No, darn it. Well, the Red Wings were there.
Yeah.
The Red Wings were there.
Yeah, the Red Wings were
But the college hockey championship.
Oh, the Frozen
So
Four.
I was like,
wow.
damn, if Michigan was playing, how great would
They
that have
got
been?
their ass beat.
Yeah, Quinnipiac for the win.
Who won it all? They won it all in overtime.
Yeah, but
Knocked
it was
off Minnesota.
It's crazy, man. I did want to mention too, just getting back to work here. This weather. So the weather was almost better here than it was there, but now it's back to winter here. So getting back to work today, cool experience though. I interviewed Clarissa Shields today on Fox 2. She's the undisputed women's middleweight champion, the boxer. So cool. She's going to be fighting at Little Caesars Arena on June 3rd, and it's the first boxing match at Little Caesars Arena. It's going to be on DAZN. Is that Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
DAZN.
Called DAZN.
DAZN?
Yes.
DAZN. DAZN. I wonder where you get zone out of ZN. But either way, DAZN. And that is, by the way, DAZN is the network that carries Creed 3, like, the fake fight in Creed 3. It's on DAZN.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In the movie.
I did watch Creed 3 finally.
What'd you think?
I do have. I think the story. If anybody see Creed 3 here?
No.
I did not see it yet.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Okay, JB, stick with me here and let me see what you think. I'm curious. I thought the storyline for Creed 3 might have been the best story itself. I thought this movie had the potential to be a great film.
Just miss Rocky.
Even if you don't have him in, if you want to take it in a new direction, and I'm sorry if I am ruining this for anybody else, but to not even acknowledge him, to not just pretend like he was never there.
Right, that's garbage.
Like you wouldn't call him, like have a fake call when you're going to get back in the ring. Have a fake call and acknowledge, hey, you don't want to train me? What do you think? Yeah, you're good. Go with whatever. Like, no acknowledgement whatsoever. The name was never brought up. And I don't want to ruin it for too much, but there was a funeral involved in this movie. For, like, that to me, more so than the fight, more so than training Creed for this fight, for him not to be acknowledged as why he wasn't at the funeral for a certain individual in the film. I thought was more of a glaring omission than anything.
You know what I'm locked on right now? Tulsa King.
Yeah, Tulsa King is good. But, JB, I want to just get your thought real quick on my assessment of Creed 3.
I have to agree with you. I enjoyed the story, although it could have been a tad bit better. But, yes, just to acknowledge Rocky somehow, some way in any part of this film would have been perfect. Even at the funeral scene or after the funeral scene, just somewhere in there could have been perfect. Although the final boxing match, I didn't care for that at all. I don't like.
I totally agree with you.
It was something off about that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And again, mention the Rocky part. I think he has admitted he is not in this film. They have admitted he's not in this film. I would have liked to seen a little bit of an acknowledgement within the film, and I did not care about the final boxing match. The story is great.
Yeah,
okay.
I love the story, and go see the film. I am still a big fan of the series. I just thought they missed the mark.
No, you're making me a little less excited about it, though, to be honest. The fact that Rocky isn't in, I already knew that because, you go to the website and you see Sylvester Stallone is not in the movie. Sure. I am as big of a Rocky fan as you'll find. And how this relates to Creed is I thought the storyline in Rocky IV, where we all know what happens to Apollo Creed, I hated that more than anything in the world. Yeah. So the fact that they came full circle and did a series about his son, Creed, I loved Creed 1, I love Creed 2. I still have to see Creed 3, but looks like in this room the consensus was that it was disappointing. Is that the right word for it? Disappointing, yes. But still pretty good?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
okay.
Disappointing, but man, did that have the potential to be a great film. Totally. Guys, and this has the potential to be another great NFL season. Big news today, and we're going to get to it in just a little bit. There is a new highest paid player in the National Football League. His name is Jalen Hurts. Is Lamar Jackson next? Is Justin Herbert next? What about Joe Burrow? Quarterbacks, and money. And where does Jared Goff fit into all of this? Well, I have a question about Goff, too, and it's very much parallel to Jalen Hurts. I want to ask you guys that, talking some football. Plus, we'll get into the NFL draft and why Bryce Young has canceled the remaining visits on his tour. Plus, Jalen Carter in Detroit today. Lots going on. We will get to that, but first a message from Fairway Packing Company. Looking for a way to elevate your dinner? Choose Fairway Packing Company. Family owned and operated since 1956. How about the Burrata Blend Burgers? The award-winning Chop House Steaks. You can impress your friends with a dry-aged Wagyu tomahawk steak and so much more. See why the top chefs in the country choose Fairway. You can visit their steak shop, one of my favorite places, on Mack Avenue in Grosse Pointe Woods. You can order online. They ship anywhere. FairwayPacking.com. FairwayPacking.com. Sourced, cut, aged, packed to perfection.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Be sure to check with Swiss Insurance this week for your commercial insurance review. Swiss can help make sure you have the proper coverage. Swiss Insurance, give us a shot and you won't be disappointed. Email them at mark@swissins.com. That is mark@swissins.com.
If you're watching the show on YouTube, we certainly appreciate it. While you're there, go ahead and subscribe to the show. Hit the like button. That would help YouTube push our content out to more people.
Give us some clown emojis.
Yeah, you could do the clown emoji, all that great stuff.
5 stars.
Click on the icon that says See Perks. Go ahead, do all that fun stuff. That's what it's for, YouTube there. I want to just quickly address Kevin Sanderson, is it? Somebody asked me about Kevin Donaldson. Ryan, did you take the kiddos to see Super Mario? Wondering if you have a 30-second see it, don't see it, take if you did. Kevin Donaldson loved Super Mario Brothers. Took the kids to see it the second night. It was
Who liked it more, you or Lukey?
Oh, Lukey loved
right.
it. Kids loved it, but the grown-ups did too. Multi-generational movie.
My daughter Lily is going tonight with her college friends.
Yeah, it's a show about, it's really a movie about nothing. I mean, that's why it's just a movie. You know what I mean? There's no like underlying themes or anything like that.
It's entertainment.
Just a movie, just entertainment. And actually, the -- movie in the country in 2023. It is already the highest grossing film.
Jeez.
It's over $677 million. It's
How's Air doing, do you know?
I don't know, but pretty good.
I still want to see that.
Yeah, I do too. Great film. Guys, want to get into the Detroit, not the Detroit. We'll get into the Lions in just a bit, but I wanted to get this breaking news story of the day. Jalen Hurts becomes the highest paid player in National Football League history. The Eagles and Jalen Hurts reached an agreement on a 5-year deal worth $255 million. That is $179 million guaranteed. Hertz did the deal, negotiated by Nicole Lynn, great story there as well, of Clutch Sports Group, and the Eagles general manager, Howie Roseman. So first, let's take this in pieces. Jalen Hurts, $51 million annually, $255 million deal for Jalen Hurts, highest paid player in National Football League history.
By $1 million, does it beat Mahomes?
Mahomes, I have Mahomes' contract up right here. I believe that is the case, Maz.
Like per year. I think he made 50, and I think this kid's going to make 51.
Yeah, it is. It is something
right around that.
Yeah, average is $450 million for 10 years.
Okay, so he gets
$45 million.
Deshaun Watson got $50 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And
Deshaun's much better than Mahomes, right?
Yeah. So there you go, guys. Incredible, and what a story Jalen Hurts is.
Great,
right? I mean, this couldn't have been more deserved, and he earned it. He earned every single dollar that he is getting. He led his team to a Super Bowl, an NFC Championship game. Had a chance, if it wasn't for a bullcrap call late in the game. In the Super Bowl, he gets an opportunity to march down the field and lead his team to a Super Bowl win. But because of the penalty, just a terrible penalty called, he doesn't even get that opportunity. The Chiefs keep the ball and win it at the buzzer. He could
have been MVP of the game anyway.
Absolutely. But what a unique story it is, because he's a guy that has been pushed out everywhere he's gone. He's pushed out at Alabama. He was... no first round. Team said he couldn't play in the NFL. Yep. No first round. Jordan Love was picked above him.
Yep.
Goes 53 in the second round to the Philadelphia Eagles. Has to earn a starting spot. Last year alone, people did not believe he was the long-term solution at quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. Just 12 months ago, at this time, 1 year ago, people were unsure. Lots of people, even them. Some in the organization probably were unsure if Jalen Hurts, Sam, was the future quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. And all he did was performed on the field and ultimately got this contract.
Well, you mentioned it first off, is that Jalen Hurts earned a big contract. Whether you think it's too much money, whether you attribute a lot of his great play last year to the roster around him, the bottom line is Jalen Hurts had an MVP-level season. And to top it all off, he had arguably the best performance by a losing quarterback in Super Bowl history. He could have... It wasn't his fault that they lost. I know he had that one fumble that was returned for a touchdown, but he more than made up for it with a 1 touchdown pass and 3 rushing touchdowns. he would have absolutely been the MVP of that game if they would have won. And sometimes you just lose to a team like the Kansas City Chiefs with an all-time great quarterback, all-time great coach. Their running game was humming. It wasn't Jalen Hurts' fault. I look at it as he played a Super Bowl well enough to win, and he had a season that was worthy of MVP consideration. And with all of that, with his age, I just have to congratulate him. It doesn't really matter the details. Just this is a day to celebrate Jalen Hurts and him earning his money.
I'm happy for the kid. Hey, the Lions had a chance to beat them in week 1, and he only got better from that game on. What they put up, 45 points that game? And he got better. And the quarterback sneak, they tried to take that rule away. Remember the tush push? The Eagles were the king of the tush push. Jalen Hurts scored a lot of touchdowns that way. Hey, Nick Sirianni, he had the confidence in this kid to turn the keys over to him. And he earned the job, and he kept it. Now, there's some people on the chat saying, well, he didn't get pushed out of Alabama.
He got pushed out of Alabama.
He lost his job to Tua. So call it what you want. He went to Oklahoma. Yeah, there's more playing opportunity at Oklahoma because he lost his job to Tua. So he went and he made his own career path. He took the side road, and he got drafted in the 2nd round. You heard Ryan? Jordan Love was picked ahead of him.
And so was Tua, by the way.
Yeah, Tua should have been the 5th round.
4th or 5th. 5th
he went
overall.
5
Yeah,
instead
5
of
to
3
Miami,
to the Lions. But yeah, the kid has earned what he has gotten, and he's humble, and he's smart with his money. I remember last year we did a story. Joe Pompliano put out a great story on how he put his money, how he got his rookie contract, and he set it all up. And he got his family some money. He took a little money for himself to spend. The rest of it he put into the bank to earn interest too. He put it on a financial planner. He did not go out and buy 3 cars, a couple of mansions, nothing. He played it smart, and now he hits the jackpot. The side story here, Ryan, I want to bring it up, is the agent that he has. And her name is
Nicole Lynn.
Check this out. Again, from Joe Pompliano. Go ahead, I'll let you take it.
So she sent Jalen Hurts a quote-unquote Hail Mary Instagram DM after his college career ended. She said, hey, have you picked up an agent yet? If not, I'd love to link. And he got in touch with her, and some years later, 5 years, $255 million. Shoot your shot was the worst thing that somebody can do is A, not respond, or B, say, no, I'm good. That's the worst thing somebody can do.
She throws it out there. He says yes, and she hits the jackpot with him. I think it's a great story.
It is a great story. It shows you who Jalen Hurts is. And
Yes.
I do have to give, I wish he was here on this day because I have to give Braylon Edwards a lot of credit. He has been on Jalen Hurts since day one. I didn't believe him. I know a lot of other people out there didn't believe him. Wasn't sure he was a quarterback of the future. Even last year, even after that Lions game last year when he looked so good, put up 48 points. I was like, you know what? It's the Lions. I'm not really quite sure about Jalen Hurts, but here he is, and he's the best quarterback right now in the NFC. I think that is far and away.
No doubt.
He's the number one quarterback in the NFC. And when you have the number one quarterback in any conference, you have a chance to get to the Super Bowl every year.
Yeah, absolutely. And Braylon Edwards was right. Sometimes your faith has to be rewarded because, like you said, Ryan, there was a lot to not really believe in his first couple of years. I know that they made the playoffs last year, but only threw 16 touchdown passes. We didn't really know what he was as a thrower of the football, but this year they got him A.J. Brown, a number one wide receiver, who I think their success was complimentary, and it was beautiful to watch. They had an offensive coordinator, Steichen, who called great game plans. He's someone that you can easily root for. I mean, we talk about him getting pushed out at Alabama. I would argue that, and I think it's inarguable, that Nick Saban made the right move. He was playing Jalen Hurts was playing terrible at halftime of that national championship game, and then Tua comes in, sparks them, they come back and win, and obviously Tua was the better Alabama quarterback. But what did Jalen Hurts do? He went to Oklahoma and the Lincoln Riley-led offense, coming right after Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray, and he has a season in which He was second in the Heisman Trophy race.
Kid was 38-1 at Alabama too, or something stupid.
I'm not saying that he was bad at Alabama.
Just saying,
he had a bad half.
He had a bad half.
He had a bad half. Kid was like 38-1 or something.
I know, but Tua was the number one recruit.
Yeah,
they brought him over
exactly,
for a reason. They used any excuse to get him in the game.
Exactly.
But was it the right move?
Yes.
He let him to
won
win.
the game.
Yeah,
Won the
Jalen
championship.
Hurts looked absolutely stagnant in that game. And like I said before, in his first 2 seasons, there were some right questions. The questions were not just for the hell of it. And then this season, he shut up all the doubters. He had a great year. You could have argued that he would have won the MVP if he would have stayed healthy, and maybe Philadelphia would have went 16-1 or 17-0.
No doubt.
I mean, if they would have went 16-1 or 17-0, how could you not have given it to him?
Was he 26-1?
26-1.
26-1.
I mean, he was
How do you not?
He was a very, very good college quarterback at Alabama, but Alabama didn't really become quarterback U until Tua Tagovailoa took over. I would argue that Jalen Hurts wasn't ever great at Alabama, although he's, up to that point, one of the best quarterbacks in school history. But happy for Jalen Hurts. I don't know if it's going to be good for the team. I know they're going to have to get rid of some players with him taking up higher of a salary cap, but he can develop. He proved that he is a great quarterback. He's not just a system quarterback. I mean, they could win a Super Bowl with him. They almost did. He played well enough for them to win a Super Bowl. It was the defense that let him down.
Isn't this how organizations are supposed to run, though? We'll make the comparison to the Baltimore Ravens in just a little bit, but here you have a player in Jalen Hurts who earns the contract, who gets the contract. You don't have to play around. Nobody's guessing. No, there's no rumors. There's no this side, that side. This side wants this, that side wants that. There's nobody out to be made the bad guy. The organization is not a bad organization. The player's not a bad player. Like, there's nothing bad that comes from doing it the right way. Mm-hmm. Is there, right? I mean, no. This was played beautifully on the part of Jalen Hurts, and it was played beautifully on the part of the Philadelphia Eagles. This is how organizations are supposed to be run.
Just imagine if you would have told Jalen Hurts or even Eagles fans or the Eagles organization that he would play well enough in his 3rd season that he would earn a contract with an average annual value of $51 million a year the next season. I wouldn't have believed it. I know nobody would have believed it, but we all saw the season. We saw how the Eagles looked with him at quarterback, and he earned his money. Happy for him. And like I said before, he proved he's not just a system quarterback. He's not just a running quarterback who can throw the ball a little bit. He is definitely the best quarterback in the NFC. I want to pause on saying great because I want to see him do it another year, but he led him to a Super Bowl, and he played a game where he certainly played well enough to win. What more can you ask? He led him to 35 points. What are you supposed to do? Lead him to 42, 49? 35 is way more than enough to win.
Look at this, guys. Patrick Mahomes, when he got his big deal, he had a Super Bowl in his pocket already. Jalen Hurts took his team to the Super Bowl. They made it. Now he gets his money. It's okay. Once you reach the Super Bowl, win it, even if you lose it.
Joe Burrow,
thank you. They all going to get their money. But you got to hit the Super Bowl before you make the money. Because now everything it's house money. Because even if they don't make it back again, how can the Eagle fans be pissed at what they've done over the last few years? And they made it back 2 times in 6 years? It's just, you got to make the big dance first. And we all know the Lions are the only team that have not made the big dance out of the NFL. And I'm talking about the original NFL teams. Yeah, there's a couple of
Houston Texans, Cleveland
there's a couple
Browns.
of expansion teams that are in there. If you want to call the Browns, they're not. They're an expansion team. The Ravens were the original Browns.
Right.
The Lions are the only team to not make a Super Bowl, and that's going to change really soon. But now, it's time for the quarterback. Do you pay him or not?
And how, you know me, I'm always going to try to relate something back to the Detroit Lions, and that's what I'm going to do next with this Jalen Hurts contract. How this really affects Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions and how they go about their business. Got an interesting question. I'd like to get your input on that, but first a message from SMA.
The sports marketing agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. If you or someone you know is struggling, head to thesportsma.com.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, one for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Let one of our talented, award-winning stylists make you look handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Hey guys, it's Maz for Cousins Made Lobster, cousinsmadelobster.com. Do yourself a favor, click on that QR code right now and find out where their 2 trucks are rolling around the Metro Detroit area, because you're going to be in for a great lunch or dinner, especially if you order ahead of time and go pick it up like Lindsey Hunter does. That's where you start gathering your points and starting to save money. They have the best seafood in Detroit. I promise you. You're going to think you're in New England eating lobster when you're right here in Detroit, USA. Check them out at cousinsmadelobster.com.
Hey guys, if you want to watch live, download our podcast and leave a 5-star review, available anywhere you listen to podcasts. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards out today. Sam Flannel in for him. Tom Mazawey as well. We got Fletch and JB. Join us every day live, 2 to 4 p.m. on woodwardsports.com for all the latest news, articles, updates, show clips, and merchandise. I wanted to say this about this contract that Jalen Hurts got. Now the work will begin, though, for the Philadelphia Eagles. Can we agree on that, guys? The work is going to begin on the Philadelphia Eagles. We have seen them lose guys like C.J. Gardner-Johnson. They lost some other ones as well. They had to cut Darius Slay before they re-signed him again. We're going to see what an organization's challenges are now when you pay the quarterback. $51 million a year annually, the most ever paid out to anybody. Aaron Rodgers makes $50 million annually. Patrick Mahomes, $45 million annually. The 10-year, $450 million deal for Mahomes seems like a friggin' bargain now compared to what Hurts got. And then what Joe Burrow's going to get, perhaps what Justin Herbert is going to get. We still don't know about Lamar Jackson. But, guys, the question I have for you is, can Jared Goff mirror Jalen Hurts a little bit? And what I mean by that is Jalen Hurts has been dismissed and replaced everywhere he's ever been. Dismissed and replaced at Alabama. Dismissed in the NFL. Couldn't be a first-round pick. Everybody wanted to see who Philadelphia's next starting quarterback was going to be, because Hurts was just a guy that they drafted, probably couldn't pass him up in the second round because he was there staring him in the face. But nobody really believed he was going to be the long-term solution for Philadelphia. Kind of the same thing and the same way people view Jared Goff. We here have been trying to replace Jared Goff since the minute he was brought over. The LA Rams discarded him as fast as they possibly could. Does Goff have any potential to be a Jalen Hurts type guy? I'm not saying $51 million a year, but a guy that is, in fact, your long-term solution here for the franchise.
That's a tough one. On one hand, I think that Jared Goff started the mirroring of Jalen Hurts' process with what he did last season, having a Pro Bowl level year, 29 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, quarterbacking the 4th-ranked scoring offense in the NFL. That is all phenomenal and good. The question, though, is are you going to want to pay him a contract that's $45 million when it's up? Because right now we all know he's cheap. He's about a $30 million a year quarterback, and for that price,
$33.5 million he's got, right? Yeah.
But Jared Goff, for that price, is great and all, and I could definitely see him having another great year, maybe even being better with Jamison Williams coming back, another year of Amon-Ra St. Brown, another year of Ben Johnson. I could absolutely see him having another Pro Bowl level season. I think right now he's the second best quarterback in the NFC.
I do too, by the way.
Yes, but for the record, do you really want to? It's when you talk about paying him $45 million a year, that is where I have a little bit of a cause for pause. I definitely want to see him do it again, but if he leads them to the NFC Championship, a Super Bowl win, I definitely would pay him just about anything because I think we're starving so much for a Super Bowl win. But it's just, to me, it depends on what he does this next year. I don't know if I could ever see him being a Jalen Hurts, but you can win with him. But right now, it really helps that he's cheap. And if you have to pay him more money, it might hurt the roster that you can supplement around him. I mean, it definitely will.
Yeah, there's no question. That's the major question here, Maz.
The Lions, like you said, can win with Jared Goff. They can. The Baltimore Ravens won with Trent Dilfer. And there's a lot of those. Brad Johnson won with the Tampa Bay Bucs. Nick Foles is a backup, won with the Eagles. Yeah, you can win with Jared Goff, no doubt. And he's getting underpaid right now. And as Neil says, you could sign him in the 40s, and that's like a 15 to 20% break. That's a discount if he'll sign for that money. Neil went out and said, hey, let's re-sign him for the next 2 years. I don't know if him and his agent will say, okay, we'll do that. He's 28 years old. He's not old. But we all know, or at least I think I know, that I don't think Jared Goff is in that class of those guys that are making $45 to soon $55, $60 million a year. I don't think he's in their class. Look who got overpaid in New York.
Here you go. You want to do it real quick?
Daniel Jones is way overpaid in New York. Guess what? Saquon wants to get paid. The defense, Lawrence wants to get paid. Everything is topsy-turvy with the Giants now because this guy is making $45 million.
Let me ask you, is Jared Goff, you want to know...
Are we going to play the better game again?
No, I'm talking about a $40 million plus class. Ready?
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, $45 million. Is he in that class?
No.
Josh Allen, $43 million. Is he in that class? Russell Wilson, $49 million. Is he in that class?
Well, now.
We don't know he is.
Now
but,
he's
but again,
right.
But again, what I'm trying to say is...
Throw last year out and no.
Russell Wilson, $49 million. Kyler Murray, $46 million.
He got overpaid.
Dak Prescott, $40 million.
He got overpaid.
But that's what they're making.
I know.
So Jared Goff is well within his right to ask for $45+ million a year.
He is.
Do you believe, and I hate to be a broken record here, gang, but do you believe that if you pay Jared Goff that kind of money,
you can't keep everyone?
You can't win if you pay Jared Goff that money.
You might win 1 year.
You cannot pay everybody else.
No.
That is why I am so desperate to draft a quarterback at 6.
That's why I told you the teams that already won are paying their quarterbacks. We haven't won anything yet.
And even like if Jared Goff takes the Lions to the Super Bowl this year, which I think he absolutely can, okay?
Me too.
I absolutely think. But for me, it's not a 1 year wonder I want the Detroit Lions to be. Because I think Jared Goff at $33.5 million, where you got a bunch of first, second, and third year players, and you got a bunch of guys on 1 year deals, on prove it deals, yes, you can win that way. But at Jared Goff at $45 million a year, paying Amon-Ra St. Brown, paying maybe Jonah Jackson, paying Penei Sewell, you can't pay everybody. What about Aiden Hutchinson when he comes up?
Yeah.
I just don't think you can have an elongated period of success if you pay Jared Goff $45-50 million. And look, he's well within his right to ask for that.
Oh, he most certainly is.
Absolutely is, especially if you win the division and heaven forbid, win a playoff game this year.
Yeah, if I'm looking at Daniel Jones making $40 million a year while throwing for 15 touchdown passes in his breakout year, if I'm Jared Goff, I'm saying, what about me? I'm definitely worth 45 at the absolute least. And Ryan, that's a good argument that you made for drafting a quarterback. And for the record, I wouldn't draft Will Levis or Anthony Richardson. I would draft Bryce Young or CJ Stroud if they're available. But the thing is, the Lions have a good situation for a rookie quarterback to come into. They have an elite offensive coordinator. They have a borderline elite offensive line. They got Amon-Ra St. Brown. They have Jameson Williams. But like you said, you're not going to be able to keep everybody if you sign or extend Jared Goff to a big deal. And we can all be happy with what he's done so far. The leap that he took last year with Ben Johnson and Amon-Ra St. Brown, unbelievable. The way that their offense looked, unbelievable. But you can't keep everybody. And there is a lot of young players that Brad Holmes has drafted for the Detroit Lions the last couple of years that are cheap for now. The Aiden Hutchinsons, the Amon-Ra St. Browns, the Kirby Josephs.
The Penei
Sewell. If they really pop, and I especially am talking about Penei Sewell and Aiden Hutchinson, they're going to ask for big paydays. They're going to be among the highest paid players at their positions when it's time for them to re-sign. That's just facts.
And again, guys,
that man his money.
Exactly. I believe that the first 4 picks of the draft are going to be quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is a null and void conversation to begin with. I don't believe that the Lions are taking Hendon Hooker at 6, and I don't believe Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, or Anthony Richardson will be available at 6, because I think in any order you want them to go, I think those 4 quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3, and 4. So why we're talking about it really, I guess, doesn't matter. But just the point to be made, why I wanted this team so desperately to take a quarterback, Anthony Richardson, namely, at 6, because you've got to take your shot at. The Detroit Lions have a period of time right now to have an elongated period of success, not just be a one-year wonder hit when the NFC is down and you might have to beat 1 or 2 teams. San Francisco and Philadelphia, seemingly, right now, are your only competition, the only 2 legitimate challenges that you are faced with. If you're the Detroit Lions, and San Francisco might not even be one of them because they have no quarterback. You could be looking at the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles are the only team in the NFC that stands in the way of the Detroit Lions, whether or not they make it to the Super Bowl. One team.
Cowboys too.
Not 15. I'm not on the Cowboys. That ship has sailed.
No, they're very healthy. They're talented.
Ship has sailed.
No, they haven't.
I think the Cowboys ship has sailed. That's my personal belief.
That's fine.
But even if you believe the Cowboys, okay, you've got the Eagles and the Cowboys then.
Yeah.
Is the only challenges standing
Vikings
in your
too.
way. Vikings are no good.
Okay.
I
49ers?
don't believe. I just mentioned the 49ers, but you're not paying attention.
I don't care. I don't have to not pay attention for you not to put the 49ers in there.
I said I don't like their quarterback. They don't have a quarterback. Who's their quarterback?
Sam Darnold.
He just said Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold. Well,
what's he, step behind Jared Goff?
Sam Darnold?
Yeah.
The guy who sees ghosts out there?
He's a step behind Jared Goff.
He got benched by Carolina.
Yeah, he's on the 49ers now. He's being well coached. He's got a tremendous team. He's got great weapons. He could get to the Super Bowl.
You know, Maz, it's funny that you mentioned that because I'm not as down on Sam Darnold as the average person either. But when you look at the San Francisco 49ers, whether you like Sam Darnold or not, and most people don't, their quarterback situation is up in the air. Obviously, Brock Purdy had a phenomenal rookie year in the perfect situation, by the way. But then he tears UCL in the playoff game. He's out. Trey Lance so far looks like a disaster of a pick.
He is.
So far. And I would agree with you. I don't foresee that getting exponentially better in the future. So like you said, Ryan, even the 49ers, with their quarterback in complete flux, a complete question mark, the only team that you can definitively say is better than the Detroit Lions is the Philadelphia Eagles. I would bet that the 49ers are going to be better as well. I agree with Maz. I'm higher on the Cowboys than you are because of Micah Parsons in particular. I think he's just one of those game-changing, franchise-changing, borderline Lawrence Taylor type of defensive players. But that's just 3 who are even in the ballpark, and you think only 2. The Lions, they're in their window right now.
Really, I think 1, to be honest with you.
The Eagles. And they have the best quarterback in the NFC, too.
And they got worse, by the way. The Eagles got worse.
They lost T.J. Edwards, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Javon Hargraves, and Miles Sanders. Those aren't big. Those are big losses. Those are 3 starters on your defense and your starting running back.
Who did they draft last year that haven't really played yet?
Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean.
You better hope. A freaking walking encyclopedia.
Exactly.
You better hope that they.
That's why I asked them.
But they might with more playing time. They didn't need Jordan Davis to be an every down.
Correct.
And he's not that guy anyway. He never was at Georgia.
More of this, plus Lamar Jackson potentially in the news here. We'll get to that, but first a message from the Foaling Warehouse.
Yes, sir. Foaling Warehouse. Here it is. In Hamtramck, Michigan, 2 ways to play foaling, football, and bowling. You throw a football at bowling pins, knock down that 5 pin on the first try. That is called a bonk, and you win the game. 2 ways to play it. $12 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation, 10 or 12 people on a lane for $120 for 2 hours, less than $10 per person. If you're thirsty, they got you covered. Multiple full bars, over 100 beers, and the $2 mystery beer machine. Bring your own food in or have it delivered. Get your foal on at foalingwarehouse.com.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Now is the best time to join Planet Fitness. The gym that has always been known for being clean is now cleaner than ever. With tons of equipment, a full body workout in the 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. But the best part about all this, you get it all just for $10 a month.
Only $10.
Only $10.
Yes, guys, only $10 a month. Now, Planet Fitness has more than 50 convenient locations around the Metro Detroit area, so no matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness nearby. Join in club today, or as always, check them out at planetfitness.com.
Guys, if you're watching live, I want to let you know that tonight's Tigers-Guardians game has been postponed. I'm going to read for this off my phone. After consultation with Major League Baseball and the Cleveland Guardians, out of abundance of caution for player safety and fan comfort, tonight's game has been postponed due to cold temperatures and heavy winds. The game on Tuesday, so this is tomorrow's game now, that was originally scheduled for 6:40 p.m. has been moved up to 1:10 p.m., and they will play a straight doubleheader. And the tickets for this one, if you have tickets for Tuesday's game, that will be good for the doubleheader tomorrow. The only tickets valid for the doubleheader will be those for Tuesday's originally scheduled 6:40 games. Both games will air on Bally Sports Detroit. So basically, game tonight, postponed. Tomorrow, straight doubleheader. If you've got tickets to tonight's game, I don't know what to tell you. If you got tickets to tomorrow's game, let's play 2.
Right as the Tigers were starting to play well, too. They were on a 3-game winning streak, and then the weather gets in the way.
They are still on a 3-game winning streak.
Hey, I was at Friday night's game.
Yeah.
I had a ball. A ball.
Talk to me about that, Maz.
Well, it was great. Me and Kathy went. We were kid-free this weekend. We went Friday night. Drew Lane was kind enough to...
Did you assault the buffet?
I assaulted the buffet at the Champions Club. It was tremendous. Guess what? I sat next to Willie Horton for 5 innings. The great Willie Horton. And we talked the entire time. What a gentleman he is. So 7th inning comes. Kathy's like, let's go walk the stadium. I'm like, all right. We wind up behind home plate. Sit down. Dave, the usher there, great guy. And I missed a foul ball by like a foot. Before you came in, I was showing Fletch and the guys how close I came to getting my first foul ball in my 61 years.
You see the Bobby Witt Jr., Bobby Witt Sr. Moment?
I did not.
Bobby Witt Jr. for the Blue Jays hit a foul ball
I read about that.
Into the suite where Bobby Witt Sr. got the ball.
That's amazing.
I mean, what's the odds of that?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I missed the foul ball. We stay, the walk-off home run. The place was electric. No, it wasn't filled, but it was electric. And the new lights that they have in the stadium, the LED, they changed colors and all. It really adds to the stadium. The wall looks awesome. Everything looks great. Guess what's missing now from Comerica Park?
Wait. Fans.
Besides that.
I
want you all to guess what is now missing from Comerica Park that's usually at every major league park, but they're phasing it out.
Scoreboard?
What kind of scoreboard?
Out-of-town scoreboard?
Yes.
Really?
The out-of-town scoreboard is gone.
I was just thinking about it because they brought the wall in, and I know it was on the
so
back.
So I'm talking to the ushers. I'm like, where's the scoreboard? He's like, they're not bringing it back. They feel it's a thing of the past. People are on their phones. I'm like, I don't give an S. I always looked in right field at the out-of-town scoreboard to see who's pitching, what the scores were. I don't want to look at my phone.
Now,
I'm watching the game.
Is that the Tigers just phasing that out?
I don't know. Maybe the Tigers have phased it out. There is no out-of-town scoreboard anymore at Comerica Park. And I think that's bull.
I was going to guess out-of-town scoreboard or center field pole.
No, the pole's still there.
The flagpole.
Flagpole's still there.
Flagpole's still there? Did they move the flagpole?
No.
Is it in play?
It's behind the fence.
Oh, it's behind the fence.
Yeah, it's always been behind the fence.
Oh, okay. Very good. No. Shows you what I know.
What can I tell you?
But yeah, I do like that baseball nostalgia, too. I mean, to have the out-of-town scoreboard.
Jesus. You got to be kidding me.
Pretty crazy. Anyway,
that's it.
Yeah.
I'll be back. I cannot wait to see another game down
I'll tell you, look,
I
man,
love Comerica. I do.
Yesterday, I was going to take my little guy to Comerica Park.
Lucky you didn't.
Yeah, lucky I did. And I figured I wasn't going to because the weather was so doomed from the start. And you would have waited 5.5 hours probably for the rain delay. We wouldn't have waited. But look, when you win games, when you win 1 in a row, 2 in a row, 3 in a row, you're going for a sweep. That's how you get fans to the ballpark. These fan experiences and all that stuff, it's great. I love it. As the father of a young boy, 2 young kids, my daughter loves it. We'll go to the baseball game. But for us, it's more about going to Comerica Park and not so much watching the Tigers.
I get it.
But when you win, it just brings people to the park. And I hope they can continue to win. This month is dreadful when it comes to the schedule.
It's a tough month.
But if you look at the schedule now anyway, it's a dreadful schedule because you play everybody now. Everybody's good. There's no cakewalks. You don't get 19 games a year against a bad baseball team.
Well, we're usually that team.
Yeah, we're usually that team here in Detroit. But again, I think just keep winning.
It was fun. They put 3 good ones together. You know what? They could have swept the Jays in Toronto. They could have. But they didn't. They took one, and then they came back, and they beat the Giants. So 3 in a row. We'll take it.
Yep, 2 comeback wins in a row in extra innings. Walk-offs. That's the thing. They're showing resilience. We all know that the Tigers aren't going to be good this year, and it's probably going to be a couple of seasons, but I don't want to be that guy sitting up here at the mic when they actually win games and just saying that it doesn't matter or they're going to suck anyway. I'm going to embrace it. This is a new regime. This isn't the Al Avila-led team. This is the Scotty Harris-led Detroit Tigers, and I have full confidence that he's going to turn things around because he has a track record. What he did with the 2021 San Francisco Giants, phenomenal. They had the best record in all of baseball, and that was a team that had no business having a better record than, say, the Dodgers. But they did it, and Scotty Harris was the architect. And I'm hoping he can do that again with the Tigers, and hopefully it happens sooner than we think. It doesn't have to be a 5-6 year rebuild.
Well, that would be like a 10-14 year rebuild if it was, because
it was nice. Miggy got the hit the other day, and the inside.
I agree.
But he looked horrible on Friday night. He is way overweight, and I'm not one to speak, but he is making $35 million. And he looks horrible.
It would have been nice for him to show up.
It would have. I mean, he's 270.
It would have been nice for him to show up in shape.
He's 270 pounds.
It's not like the guy's 55 years old.
He looks terrible.
Yeah,
he really does.
He's a big guy.
I mean, come back, and this is your final year. Have some pride, man.
Well, that is why so many people talked about, like, buying him out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like,
he's
for the
a hole in the
lineup. Come up to some resolution. It doesn't appear that A.J. Hinch is prepared to play him every day.
He's batting 6th or 7th.
Yeah, I mean,
he's terrible. He's an out.
It's fine. I saw the Woodward Sports put out this Mount Rushmore of Detroit sports athletes, and they did it. Steve Yzerman, Isaiah Thomas, Barry Sanders, and Miguel Cabrera. And I was like, is he really?
Well, he's one of the greatest right-hand hitters.
So I guess that would make him that, right?
You know what? He is probably behind Al Kaline and Ty Cobb.
I would put Kaline there.
Yeah, Kaline
won a series, won a world championship.
I understand that, but you got to put him in there.
Yeah, I guess you do.
You got to.
Yeah,
he put some massive numbers up.
Yeah.
The reality of the situation, though, is obviously in his prime, especially from 2010 to 2013, he had a 4-year stretch in which he had 3 seasons in which he had an OPS of above 1,000, and the 1 year where he didn't was his Triple Crown season. Absolutely phenomenal. But in the past 7 years, he's basically been a below replacement level player. And he was finished at age 34 being productive. And I think he needs to wear it a little bit for that. I'm not saying you should slander him, but I'm kind of getting tired of looking at him in the lineup every day too. The reality of the situation is he got out of shape and overweight too quickly. I think he had a couple more good years in him, but he didn't take care of his body. That's not slander. It's just facts. He has been a bad baseball player for 6 years, and he's going to do it again for this 7th year. It was a nice walk-off, but it was a little dribbler against a drawn-in infield.
Right.
I mean, no big deal.
And you might feel the way about Trout that you feel about Miggy, right? I mean, Mike Trout's been on more losing baseball teams than winning baseball teams. Same as Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
but he has a World Series and Trout does not.
Well, he does. I guess yes. I think about Miguel Cabrera as a Detroit Tiger, but you can't take.
It's not his body is in tremendous shape.
Right.
He keeps himself in great shape. It's his back that's letting him down.
Miguel Cabrera, you think about all the winning the Tigers have done. He's played on more losing baseball teams than winning baseball teams.
Absolutely.
It's pretty incredible to think about. Guys, I want to get back to the NFL next. We're in the middle of a discussion.
I didn't mean to hijack.
No, it didn't. I wanted to get the news out about the Tigers game tonight. If anybody's listening to us with tickets tonight, I wanted to get that word out that the game has been postponed. A straight doubleheader tomorrow at 1:10.
Old-fashioned.
Check with the Tigers on tickets, but I believe, as I read it, that the Tuesday games will be Tuesday game tickets will be good for the 1:10 doubleheader tomorrow. But check with the Tigers on all that information. Get back to the NFL next, but first, a message from Alta.
At Alta, uptime matters.
It matters.
Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, give Alta Rental a call today at 1-844-GO-TO-ALTA. 1-844-GO-TO-ALTA.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey, welcome back. Hour number 2 here on woodwardsports.com. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to Woodward Sports. All the shows and clips throughout the day. You can watch live or at any time of your choosing. If you can't watch live, download our podcast. Leave a 5-star review, available anywhere you listen to podcasts. Ryan Ermanni, great and glad to be back here today after a week off. Sam Flannel in for Braylon.
Hey, if you have tickets for tonight's Tiger game, you can cash them in for a game later in the year. But tomorrow's Tuesday night tickets can be used for both games tomorrow. So tonight's tickets can't be used tomorrow. They can be traded in for a different game.
Very good stuff. I was just going to say, why don't you just let everybody show up?
I agree. No one's going to be there.
Anybody wants
at 1 o'clock tomorrow, nobody will be there.
If you want to come, just come to the gate.
Open the gates.
I know. You feel bad for the people, for the season ticket holders, though. Anybody that paid money, you can't do that because of those people, right?
I get it,
I
man.
mean, if I paid season tickets for the Lions or for the Tigers, and you're just letting people walk in, I'm pissed.
There will be 500 people at the 1 o'clock game tomorrow. 500.
You think so?
Yeah, because it's not available.
Right.
You can't buy a ticket for it unless you have the 640 ticket.
Unbelievable.
Oh, boy.
That's why they should just let the people that have a ticket tonight
Go
to the game or exchange it.
Just
your
let
choice.
Guys, back to the NFL.
Then again, they don't get back to you anyway.
No.
What the hell's the difference?
So let me ask you about this. The NFL draft is coming up a couple of weeks away. We're very excited about that. We'll tell you about our draft party coming up, too. Jalen Carter is in today to visit the Detroit Lions.
I wish we had better weather for him.
Yeah, well, I think he's fine. According to Adam Schefter, Jalen Carter visiting the Lions today. He already visited the Seahawks, the Raiders, the Bears, and the Eagles. So you've got 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10. I'm not sure he gets past 5, Sam. This thing, water always seems to find its level, right? We were talking about Jalen Carter, number 1 to the Bears. Then we were talking about him, number 5 to Seattle, number 6 to the Lions. Out of the first round all completely. The Raiders have him off their board, and now he's slotted in to Seattle again at 5.
And that's the thing about the Seattle Seahawks is they actually made the playoffs last year, but they have some of the same deficiencies as the Detroit Lions did. They had a bottom 10 rush defense and scoring defense. They were fortunate enough to make the playoffs. They were fortunate enough to score 48 when the Lions scored 45, and which turned out to be the most damaging loss of the season. If he gets to the Lions, he is somebody that I would absolutely consider taking if I'm Brett Holmes. That's Jalen Carter, that is. Because the Detroit Lions had a bottom 5 rush defense and scoring defense. We all know the defense played a lot better down the stretch of the year, but they also gave up that terrible game at Carolina where Carolina set their franchise record for rushing yards in a game.
In the first quarter.
Yeah, and it was by Chuba Hubbard and Deontay Foreman. This wasn't the Cam Newton, Jonathan Stewart Carolina Panthers. This was Chuba Hubbard and Deontay Foreman gashing the Lions. And early on in the year, that game against Seattle in which they scored 45 points and lost, Rashad Penny went off in that game. If you put Jalen Carter on this defense, I think it would improve the run defense exponentially, and that is if he is there. One thing that impressed me a lot about Jalen Carter in Georgia this past season, the 2021 season in which Georgia had arguably the best defense in college football history, they lost 5 first-round draft picks to the 2022 NFL draft, including Jordan Davis. Georgia still had the number 1 ranked rushing defense for this past 2022 season, in which Jalen Carter was the clear leader of the defense. And it wasn't just that he was all sort of clogging holes and opening things up for everybody else. He had 6.5 sacks and 15.5 tackles for loss in his last 2 seasons at Georgia. I think Jalen Carter is a guy, his floor is somebody along the lines of a Christian Wilkins, and his ceiling could be someone like Jeffrey Simmons if he turns out to be what we think he could be. So for that reason alone, if Jalen Carter is there, I'm not saying he's my first choice, but if Will Anderson is gone, if Stroud and Young are gone, I would absolutely take Jalen Carter. But the Seahawks, as you said, they might be thinking the exact same thing because they have needs on the defensive line too.
Listen, did you see the latest that Bell put out?
Yes.
He's got freaking Will Anderson slipping to us.
That would be incredible.
Would you rather have, you got them both there, I'm going to say. Who are you taking, Jalen Carter or Will Anderson?
Will Anderson. 100%, not even a question about it. Will Anderson would have been the number 1 overall pick in the draft if he was able to come out last year. Will Anderson is a wrecking ball. Not saying Jalen Carter isn't, but Jalen Carter really, nobody heard his name until earlier this year, I think.
No, Braylon has blown the horn for Jalen Carter for the last 2 years. He said...
I've never heard him talk about Jalen Carter.
He said he's been the best player on the Georgia team for 2 straight playoff years. The best player on the field for both of those games.
Fair enough. Then I'll defer to him on that. If you're asking me my opinion, I believe that Will Anderson, if he falls to the Lions at 6, I might fall out of the chair.
I know you will.
And you might have to go to take me to the hospital because it will have lasted for longer than 4 hours. It is insane if that were to happen for the Detroit Lions. Will Anderson there. Just before I get to that, if I could say this about Jalen Carter, I am convinced the Lions will not take Jalen Carter if he's there. And I'm glad they're doing their due diligence on this. But I don't know if you've seen the video that is on my Twitter feed all the time now, and I wish I would have grabbed it. I actually just looked for it. Can't find it now, obviously. But it's Rick Spielman, former general manager of the Minnesota Vikings, brother of Chris Spielman, talking about Jalen Carter. And one of the things that he says is Jalen Carter does not play hard. He does not play hard every snap. That is not a Dan Campbell guy. That it's just not. You talk about Dan Campbell on Rich Eisen's podcast or Rich Eisen show or whatever he was saying, talking about how he's got a man crush on all these guys. I can assure you Dan Campbell has no man crush on Jalen Carter. And the reason I believe that is because these man crushes only come with guys that love ball, to use a phrase that Dan Campbell uses. And I don't want to associate Chris Spielman with Rick Spielman, but let's be honest.
They're brothers.
They are brothers.
They're going to talk
every day.
Yeah.
If my brother was the general manager of whatever, and I'm in the front office or somewhere else, we're talking about players constantly.
Of course.
And Rick Spielman's job now as an analyst is to share his opinion. And the opinion that I see all the time now on my timeline is this video of Rick Spielman saying that Jalen Carter does not play hard every play. And that is a red flag for him. And I just don't think that's a Dan Campbell kind of guy. And you don't change people. You know, I once wanted Jalen Carter so bad, but now after hearing that, I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen at all now. I don't think that's going to happen at all.
You may be right, and I think there's some credence to the idea that maybe he's not a Dan Campbell kind of guy. But if that's the case, and I'm going to preface this again by saying if Will Anderson isn't there and Jalen Carter is, I still think that he is the pick. And one of the reasons, too, it's not just because of how dominant he was at college in terms of not necessarily numbers, but the way that he opened things up for everybody else and how good the defense was as a whole. He was the best player on the defense for the last 2 seasons. But it's to the fact that it's such a need for them. Defensive line is one of the weaknesses of the Detroit Lions, at least as of right now. Who do you got? Ali McNeil, Isaiah Buggs, John Kaminsky. They're all solid. But Jalen Carter, to me, is the pick at number 6 if he is available. There's nobody else in the draft as far as a defensive lineman goes that I think is worthy of the Lions drafting that high. And you may say after that maybe they can get a Kalijah Kancey or a Brian Brzee at 18. I just think...
Oh, God, please.
And I like Brian Brzee for the record.
Please never say his name again.
What's your problem with Brian Brzee?
I hate Brian Brzee.
You know what? I actually like Brian Brzee, but you know what?
I don't hate him. I don't hate anybody. I got a lot of love in my heart.
I know
don't
you
hate
do.
Anybody.
I'm not going to die on the Brian Brzee hill, but just Jalen Carter at 6. He is the pick if he's available. There are very few, in my opinion, generational type talents in this draft. I think there's probably only 2, Will Anderson and Jalen Carter. And I think if he drops to 6, it would obviously because of off the field stuff and because of his pro day. It is a gift. And you don't re-gift that gift. You take that gift and you plug him into this defense and you become exponentially better next year. Don't overthink this, Lions. If Jalen Carter is there, take him.
No re-gifting, Sam.
Lions fans.
Lions fans, that's right. They got to take him, Rye, if he's there at 6.
I don't think they do.
It would be a disaster.
I don't think they do.
What if he goes to the Bears at 9?
Oh, the Bears.
Yeah.
What are you going to do then?
Look.
What are you going to do?
Who's my quarterback? Do I got a better quarterback than they got?
I don't think so.
For now.
No, I'm saying that's what I'll do. Like, Jalen Carter, fine. But
he's chasing your quarterback around for the next 8 years.
Look, I don't know, man. I'm not saying I don't want Jalen Carter. What I'm saying is I don't think the Lions will take him.
I think Dan Campbell played himself a hell of a poker hand. I believe that Dan, and I said it on Friday's show, I believe he has gotten better. I think Brad Holmes sat down with him, played poker, and taught Dan Campbell how to play poker. And, yeah, remember when he said, oh, yeah, we talked to Jalen Carter's teammate. That was very interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Remember those words?
Yes. Fletch has the Spielman. I'm going to get it to you next, but first a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts. I'm not done with this, and I want to ask you guys, too. I don't want to gloss over it. Will Anderson Jr., Jalen Carter, you are going to have the option of one of them, in my opinion.
Amazing. Amazing.
Crazy how it ultimately worked out, but I think you're going to get there. But let me tell you about Lady Jane's. You can walk into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not 1, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars. One for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, your best bud, whoever you want to give it to. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I've lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Yes, sir. It is a Monday, April 17th, woodwardsports.com. Braylon out today. Sam Flannel in for him. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Woodward Sports. Hit the like button as well. If you could go ahead and hit that like button for me right now, that'd be awesome. We'd certainly appreciate it if you're watching on YouTube. So, Fletch, you have found a clip from Rick Spielman talking about Jalen Carter. Is this correct?
Yes, it is. We're going to do audio only, but it's from Maggie and Perloff.
Yeah,
I believe
New York.
They do, yes, an online show. And he is on the phone with them. So
great.
Here we go.
That was something that I haven't seen before. But from a general manager's perspective, from a front office, these teams, if you want to look at a positive just from a football perspective, from a front office side, you're glad that it happened here because now you have a couple the draft comes up. If that happened on draft day, teams would have been definitely scrambling. But now they can assess the situation, assess the risk of taking a quarterback. Hopefully everything gets resolved from a legal standpoint before the draft. If not, then that's going to open up some questions.
So that one, he was talking about the legal issues. I did find Fletch. I did find it for you. I sent it to you if you could turn that around quickly. But again, Jalen Carter is, aside from the quarterbacks, Sam, the most polarizing player clearly in this draft.
He is the most polarizing player in this draft. I mean, you were just mentioning it, Maz. Imagine if the Lions pass on him and he goes to the Chicago Bears and becomes a game wrecker on that defense. It's a need for them as well. Imagine if Jalen Carter is chasing after Jared Goff for the next couple of years and the Lions draft, I don't know, whoever they choose to draft instead. It could end up being, he's the type of player, I'm not saying necessarily for Brad Holmes' case because I think his job is secure, but for a lesser GM of a losing team, he's the type of player that if you pass on him or if you take him and he fails, you could lose your job. He's become that kind of a polarizing prospect. And it's funny because before all this stuff off the field happened, I think he was considered, other than Will Anderson, maybe the most can't miss out of all of them.
Why would he fail in the NFL?
Well, it's all attitude, right? I mean, why?
Well, he had attitude in college.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't believe that, Maz. I'll tell you why people fail in the NFL that are good in college. Because you could have, in college, your talent can get you through a lot. In the NFL, your talent is just that. It's talent. There's going to be always somebody working harder than you, always somebody eating better than you, always somebody working out more than you, always somebody studying more than you are in the film room. You've got to do this whole thing. Your talent isn't good enough in the NFL. You have to have everything. Here, this is the clip that I've been telling you about. Rick Spielman talking about Jalen Carter. Here it is.
Jalen Carter, defensive tackle from Georgia, may be one of the most dominant defensive tackles I've seen come out in this draft in a long, long time. Why I think he has a potential bust factor in him is when you watch him on tape, when he wants to play, there's no one at the collegiate level that can block him. And he can beat a offensive lineman versus a run and versus pass pro. Where the issue I has, I don't think that he plays hard every snap. The other issue I have, which I think a lot of teams are having discussions in their draft meeting, is what is this guy off the field? And how many hours of manpower and resources are we going to have to put into this one player to make sure that he is going to be the player that we see or can potentially be a perennial Pro Bowler? You first start with the legal issues. Those seem to be resolved. But if I was an NFL team, I would be making sure I had every box checked in that area. But what was disappointing was that his biggest stage was his pro day. He was 9 pounds overweight. He couldn't even finish the workout. And you'd think a guy with this type of talent would want to put on a show for all the NFL teams, and he failed miserably at that. The third major concern I have is just reading on the outside, and I don't know if it's true or not, but he will not take any visits except if a team is in the top 10 in this draft. Well, if I'm team number 12 or if I'm team number 14, and I'm thinking about moving up into the top 10, and that player does not want to come visit us because we're out of the top 10 right now, then why would I take him if he dropped out of that? I have too many questions, not about his ability, but about all the other things that I had just spoken about.
That was Rick Spielman, former general manager of the Minnesota Vikings, brother of Chris Spielman, courtesy of the 33rd team. That, to me, does not sound like a player the Detroit Lions are going to take. Not as long as Chris Spielman's in that organization.
Can't you just look at that pro day and, like I said, throw it out? He was in the middle of he just finished his legal battles. He's had a rough time. Yeah, it was his fault. He left the scene of an accident. I know he's had speeding issues in the past. Can't you just look at it as like he had a rough month, and he knows he's going in the top 10 anyway? I don't know.
You got to ask Brad Holmes that,
Listen,
man.
I know it doesn't look good. It didn't look good that he was overweight and he couldn't finish the workout. I understand that. But he's got too much on the good side to let that ruin that.
Well, I mean, and first of all, I don't necessarily have any problem with him not taking meetings from teams outside the top 10 because he is...
Why?
Well, because at worst, he's a top 3 to 5 talent in this draft. He shouldn't fall that far.
No, but didn't you? But the reason why you do that is exactly what Rick Spielman said. The reason why you do that is for the same reason. If you put Mel Kiper's draft up, this is why you do that, because you see the number 3rd overall pick there.
Yes,
Tennessee. What pick do they have? 11.
Yes,
they got 11. They traded up to get their guy.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Rick Spielman's saying. If you're 12, 13, 14, 15, and you want to trade up to get that player, but he is too busy in the off season not to come visit you, that's a red flag, I think.
I mean, but like I said, though, Jalen Carter is just so talented. He shouldn't fall. I get what you're saying, that a team could trade up to draft him, and that is within the realm of possibility. But he's also not a quarterback. I don't know if I see anybody trading up for Jalen Carter.
Listen, if a team called me, Sam, I'm a kid. A team called my agent. I'm going to go visit them. It's their dime. Why not go visit them? At least, just go visit them.
I mean, that's fair, I suppose. I just think out of all the things that they mentioned, that's the one that's the biggest nothing burger of them all. I will say this, though, and this is me kind of playing devil's advocate to myself. The whole pro day situation, that was a little bit alarming even to me. And I kind of chalk that up to, and you kind of alluded to it, Maz, is he had trouble dealing with what occurred. Obviously, it all happened within a very short period of time, and he probably was very, very stressed, probably feeling some guilt. Probably football was the last thing on his mind for a little while. I think the key is whether or not he can challenge what happened. Maybe, I wouldn't say get over it, but get to a point where he can forgive himself and get past it and channel that energy into being a dominant football player. That's my only concern about him, because it was tough to deal with. There probably was a lot of guilt and shame, even though it wasn't necessarily all his fault. He made a poor decision. There is enough time, though, before the NFL season to where he can get it right, and obviously put him in an NFL training camp. Hopefully he plays his way into even better shape. I don't think you can pass on him if you're the Detroit Lions. Nothing that's been said, and I know I'm not Dan Campbell. I know I'm not Brad Holmes.
And I think that's the point. I think all three of us agree that if Jalen Carter is there, you would take Jalen Carter. You have a need. It's a bit of a free square, and one of the things that I said weeks ago is I said I do believe Jalen Carter is going to a team with two first-round picks. I said that before, and I'll say it again. I believe Jalen Carter is going to a team with 2 first-round picks just in case he's a bust. Because you cannot bust on your first-round guys. You just can't do it in the NFL unless you have 2. It makes it a little bit easier to swallow. But what we would do at 6 if Jalen Carter is there is much different, I think, than when your job is on the line and you are thinking about all these other things. We are so emotional as fans, as analysts. You see a player, you don't see the whole picture. You don't see what these guys got to see. I didn't even think, Rick Spielman said it in this thing, I didn't even think to consider all the resources, all the manpower, all the money it would cost you and your organization. Forget about money. They got the money. But just the manpower on making sure this guy is on time, doing what he's doing. Maybe follow him around a little bit, because that happens in the NFL. To have a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week babysitter. Is that the kind of thing you want for your first-round pick? I don't know that answer. It just doesn't feel like the Detroit Lions are in that spot.
Just remember the Warren Sapps and Randy Mosses of the draft and the bad look that they got. Dan Marino, pot smoker, troublemaker. Just remember all of those words that were out there on those guys, and they're all in the Hall of Fame.
Yep, and Laramie Tunsil most recently had the whole gas mask.
Yeah, look at the money he's making.
Look at the money he's making. Look how he panned out, and he fell to the point where he was an absolute steal in the draft. And you mentioned something interesting about hitting on your first-round draft picks. I think that is the most underrated thing that Brad Holmes has done so far with Penei Sewell and Aiden Hutchinson. We don't know about Jamison Williams yet, but at least with your first-round picks, he has hit. And I get it. Jalen Carter, when it comes to the incident that he got involved in, there's always a risk that maybe he's not a high character guy. And I would say that it was obvious that Penei Sewell and Aiden Hutchinson were. So it may be a little bit off brand for the Lions to take a guy who's got character concerns, but the rebuild has also been so expedited, and he is such a need. I think talent can outweigh your character concerns.
I want to address this one in the chat. Chef Chris Smith. Braylon did the same thing. He didn't visit every team. You guys aren't telling the whole story, SMH. What's the whole story? Braylon had no off-the-field concerns. Braylon had no situations like Jalen Carter had. Braylon was an exemplary person off the field, on the field. There was none of this stuff about worrying about what kind of motor he had, taking time off. Yeah, if you have a bunch of red flags, if you have teams that have taken you completely off your draft board, allegedly that we've had reports of teams taking Jalen Carter totally off the board, I guarantee you not one team in the NFL in Braylon's draft took Braylon Edwards off their draft board. I guarantee you that. So that's not a fair comparison. Each player is different. When you are Jalen Carter and you've got a million of these red flags, yeah, I think you do and should come under criticism for not taking visits. There you have it. Chili, peppers, tanning. Look like me.
Yes, sir. Looking good, Rye. 27 locations for chili peppers tanning. You know how to get there. You know what time it is. There's two right here on Woodward Avenue, guys. And if you're in this area, the Birmingham Royal Oak area, there's two right here. And if you join the Pepper Club, they're going to save you $5. They're going to save you $5 on unlimited tanning against any of those competitors. Plus here, you get the cleanest salons in the D and the most trained tanning professionals. They are the best. They take great care of you. Remember that. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters. ChiliPeppersTanning.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Cintron is the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings. Right now, they have an exclusive offer for Woodward Sports fans for their limited edition Red Wings 6-pack, only $15 plus free shipping. Head to drinkcintron.com/Woodward and try it today. All 3 delicious Cintron flavors in one: classic, sugar-free, and cranberry. That's drinkcintron.com/Woodward.
Pretty big news day today. You've got the Jalen Hurts contract out there now, highest paid player in NFL history, $51 million a year annually. 5 years, $255 million. And then we saw this, guys. Bryce Young has canceled all of his visits from now on because, according to Tom Pelissero, the Alabama quarterback believes he will be the number 1 overall player, and he will go to the Carolina Panthers first overall. That decision appears to have been made.
I thought Frank Reich wanted Anthony Richardson.
The story is he did.
Yeah.
The story is he did.
So they went from the 6'4" guy to the 5'6" guy.
Yeah, organizationally.
Got it.
Bryce Young. So Bryce Young goes number 1. And again, just a point about this, guys. Let me put the Kiper back up because I keep going back to this. Not that Mel Kiper is the be-all, end-all. But
He's our guy.
I think this is along the lines of how it's going to go. I think Bryce Young 1, C.J. Stroud 2. I think Tennessee is going to trade up and get whoever they like, whether it's Will Levis or Anthony Richardson. The Colts will take whoever is left.
They love Levis.
So you've got 4 quarterbacks going 1, 2, 3, and 4. That in and of itself goes to show you right there just how desperate teams are for a quarterback. Even if Houston, look at Houston. They got DeMeco Ryans as their head coach, right? DeMeco Ryans, defensive guy, comes from San Francisco, played for Houston. Maybe he's not sold on C.J. Stroud or any of these other quarterbacks. You could get the best defensive player in this draft. You have the option. You have carte blanche on picking Will Anderson Jr., on Jalen Carter, and being such a centerpiece of your defense for a decade plus. But you're going to go reach on a quarterback. And I say reach because are these guys can't miss guys?
I think C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young, I don't know if they're can't miss, but I think they're as close to can't miss quarterback prospects as we have in this draft. And if you're Houston, if you're DeMeco Ryans, if you're Houston as a whole, you're probably tired of looking at Davis Mills play quarterback for your team because they have some pieces, but Davis Mills just ain't it. And I say ain't for effect. And I think, and you mentioned something about Mel Kiper, which I think is very, very interesting. We all give Mel Kiper some flack for his wrong prognostications and everything, for which he has had many.
They're all guesses.
Mm-hmm. They're all guesses, but that's the thing. When he mocked Will Anderson to the Lions, that's why it really became a topic on these shows. That's why I got excited. It wasn't Flannel Sam in his basement making a mock draft. It wasn't my PFF mock draft simulator. It was Mel Kiper. And I think, like you said, it has some legs to it. And like you said earlier, Ryan, if somehow, some way, Will Anderson falls to the Detroit Lions,
I don't even know what to say about that.
I said last week that me and JB were going to do a backflip together at Fifth Avenue on draft night, and I can't even do a backflip. I mean, Will Anderson, he is one of the best college edge rushers I've ever seen. In 2021, he had 17.5 sacks and 31 tackles for loss and 101 tackles. One of the greatest seasons any college defensive player has ever had. If he gets to the Lions and you pair him with Aiden Hutchinson, again, I won't be able to stand up for 4 hours. I won't call a doctor. I mean, I'll have to call a doctor, but I probably won't because I'll be enjoying the feeling just a little bit too much. Will Anderson would be a slam dunk home run.
Pretty incredible stuff. Yes. No doubt about it. But Bryce Young, yeah, I mean, number 1 to Carolina, so that pick looks to be set.
He can't even see over the line, man. I'm sorry. I know he's a great college quarterback.
I think you're wrong on him. I think he's going to be a really good player.
Okay.
I think you're wrong.
They caught up to Kyler Murray. I think they'll catch up to him.
Maybe. I think
That's tough, man. That's tough to do. And I know everyone's going to bring up Drew Brees. You don't know this kid's Drew Brees. Drew Brees was special.
Well, you don't know he's not either.
No, I don't know he's not. I don't know. So it is what it is.
I think you're being a little too hard on Bryce Young, man.
I'm not. I think he's a great young man. I do.
It's all right, but you mentioned how Frank Reich wanted Anthony Richardson, and they're going after Bryce Young instead. And you said they're going from a 6'4" guy to a 5'6" guy. First off, Bryce Young isn't 5'6", or you could look at it as going from a guy who had a 53.8 completion percentage in college his starting year to a Heisman Trophy winner. You could look at it that way too. Mm-hmm. Bryce Young was extremely productive in college, and Anthony Richardson was not. I'm not saying production is all that matters, but when I'm
not
looking,
even comparing him to Anthony Richardson.
Okay, fair enough.
I just brought up their height difference.
Fair enough.
That's all.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So, news regarding Lamar Jackson today a little bit. And according to Ian Rappaport, he was on the Pat McAfee show. $200 million guaranteed to Lamar Jackson. $200 million guaranteed. Is that what we're saying?
That's what he said. Baltimore's offered.
The
Lamar
Ravens
Jackson.
have offered quarterback Lamar Jackson a deal that includes $200 million guaranteed,
which would put him well above what Jalen Hurts just got.
$200 million was the total guaranteed, and $133 was guaranteed on a shorter deal. So the $133 million that he was offered was on a shorter deal. This would be a longer deal for $200 million. Lamar Jackson, it's hard to not look at what the Eagles did with Jalen Hurts and then look how the Baltimore Ravens dealt with Lamar Jackson and say something seems to be amiss here. But I don't know, man. Somebody messed up here with Lamar Jackson.
Well, Lamar Jackson at this point is, I think that's the only pathway for the Baltimore Ravens to win, at least in the next couple of years, is getting him in the room in some capacity, maybe signing him. But the thing about Lamar Jackson, too, is we can't overlook the fact that since 2019, his MVP season, his stats have went down every single year, although his 2020 season was also very good. The last 2 years, he's missed a combined 10 games due to injury, and his career record in the playoffs is 1-3 with 3 touchdown passes and 5 interceptions. This isn't the Lamar Jackson slander hour. I'm just saying that it's not as simple as, oh, he's a former MVP, you got to give him what he wants. I think there's some nuance to the whole deal. And with Jalen Hurts, I think one of the reasons he got his big deal is because he proved himself in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts Lamar Jackson has never had a good playoff game, period. That's a knock.
Look, it goes back to something you said, whether it was Mahomes, whether it was Burrow, whether it was Hurts, Allen has not made it to a Super Bowl yet, but all of these guys have gotten paid and have had some little bit of success.
Those first 3 guys have been Super Bowl.
Yeah, first 3 guys have been Super Bowl. Allen is the only one who hasn't made it to a Super Bowl. I haven't checked to see how many playoff wins he has, but I think it's more than 1.
He has 3.
He has 3. Thank you for that. You're a walking encyclopedia.
Yes,
God bless you. I love it. The Lamar Jackson has not had playoff success.
So if this is true, $200 million, so how does he not take that, right?
I don't know.
He should already be signed.
He should be.
I don't know how he doesn't take that
if Ian Rappaport is on the air saying this is what Baltimore has just offered him, he should already have signed the contract already.
Absolutely. At this point, it's almost, I wouldn't say he'd almost be lucky to get that with everything that has been going on with the franchise tender, the non-exclusive franchise tender. The fact that he might actually get out of this as a winner, that's great news.
And not paying an agent.
And not paying. Oh, well, that's another story for another day.
Well, I'm just saying, he gets to keep all that money.
That's true. I don't know how that works, man. I don't know how that works. Guys, got to take a break. When we come back, we'll go around the NFL. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. It is the new year, and it's time for Guardian Alarm. Well, it's been in the new year for quite some time, but we want to let you know that Guardian Alarm has customized solutions from real experts. They've got 24-hour professional monitoring. They've got technology backed by people. They've been in business for over 90 years. You don't stay in business for over 90 years if you're doing something wrong. They are not. They are doing something right, protecting you. When you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing: stay out.
Stay out.
All you have to do is call this number right here, 1-800
Stay out.
Call them today. 1-800 out. Call him now.
You've heard of Gordon Ramsay. You've heard of Bobby Flay. But Thursday night Master Chef Brad Holmes will be in the kitchen with all of the ingredients needed to make a great dish on draft night. Join Woodward Sports for our 3rd annual Woodward Sports Draft Party, live at 5th Avenue in Royal Oak. The past 2 years, these parties have been standing room only, so get your tickets early at eventbrite.com. Don't miss out on all the fun with Braylon Edwards, Ryan Ermanni, Neil Rule, Darren McCarty, and the entire Woodward sports crew. The party starts at 7:30 p.m. Don't miss the biggest draft party in the Motor City. Brought to you by the biggest network, Woodward Sports.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in Downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Hey, it's Maz for Big Boy Fish Fry. It's over. No more Fish Fest. It's time for Strawberry Fest. It's back at Big Boy. That's right. It's better than ever. Start off with breakfast. Nothing like the strawberry hotcakes or the mouth-watering red velvet waffle. If you're not feeling breakfast, the strawberry bacon chicken wrap, or cool off with the refreshing summer splash salad. Don't forget to grab dessert, including their berry delicious classic strawberry pie. How about some deep fried vanilla Oreos, or Ryan's favorite, the strawberry hot fudge cake, and more at Big Boy.
Hey, welcome back. WoodwardSports.com. Ryan Ermanni, Sam Flannel in for Braylon Edwards. Want to remind you that if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. Tell a friend about Woodward Sports. Hit that like button for us. Let's see if we can get to over 150 likes here in the next segment, which we will talk about some NFL news and notes, some big happenings in Washington.
Yes, just last week we told you the deal was probably a done deal. $6 billion. That's what the Washington Commanders were going to go to Josh Harris, who owns the Sixers and the Devils. That's the Magic Johnson group. Well, over the weekend, someone came up with $7 billion in cash money, Ryan.
Yeah, so this from Dove through Darren Haynes. Darren Haynes, local sportscaster in Washington, reported that the sale of the Commanders to Josh Harris for $6.05 billion might not be finalized. A $7 billion cash offer from D.C. native Brian Davis was made to buy the team, in which he would be the NFL's first black owner. Brian Davis, of course, played on Duke's basketball team, the Bobby Hurley, Christian Laettner championship team.
Guy?
Brian Davis, Brian Davis. And he said he would give Dan Snyder $1 billion cash in the first 24 hours.
Oh my God.
He would give Daniel Snyder the rest of the $6 billion cash within 7 days of purchase.
Wow.
He would assume all responsibility, legal, liable, and everything that the Washington Commanders football organization would have. This guy's going to be the owner of the Washington Commanders.
You know who the...
I don't know. There's not one reason in the world, not one, not even 0.5, that you don't take that deal.
You know who the secret guy is in this deal, don't you?
Who?
I hear it's Jay-Z, who was going to be with Jeff Bezos, but Jeff Bezos bailed out last week. And I hear Jay-Z's money is involved in this particular sale.
I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about that money. What I do know is Brian Davis had a very successful energy company.
That's a lot of energy.
$7
billion's a lot of energy.
Yeah, he's got like $50 billion.
That's unbelievable.
So
he'll build a new stadium,
kind of like that.
Oh my God!
I remember Brian Davis from the "I Hate Christian Laettner" documentary. I guess he was Christian Laettner's best friend in college.
Yeah, they had a real estate thing too, like him and Christian
I bet
Laettner.
Laettner's got a piece of this.
Laettner mine. I mean, they're like boys.
I mean, the bottom line, though, is if I'm a Washington fan, I'm just counting down the days until Dan Snyder is no longer the owner of that football team, because we forget that Washington in the 80s and the early 90s was one of the most successful franchises in all of the NFL. They won 3 Super Bowls between 82 and 91 with 3 different quarterbacks. But since 1999, when Dan Snyder bought the team, they have a grand total of 2 playoff wins. He's been one of the worst owners in all of the NFL, and it's just about time that he loses his team. So good riddance, but you're also going to get a nice, $6-7 billion check out of it. Jesus.
I think the bizarre situation here is we really haven't heard much about this in the last 2 days. Like, this was put out there over the weekend, and then nothing. So I don't know how you have the ability to say no to this.
Can you imagine if this does happen and Brian Davis and Jay-Z own this team? Do you know how many players are going to want to flock over to the Washington Commanders?
Well, there's no doubt about it, but there still is a salary cap league, so it's not like
I understand that.
In unlimited, you can just go wherever you want to go. But I would assume it's like an LA Rams situation.
Yeah.
Do you know how many players want to go play in LA? I would assume it's like that. If you're a free agent, if you're choosing between LA and Team B, you're going to choose LA.
Absolutely.
But that doesn't mean you can get all the good players.
I do hope that they just change that pathetic logo that they came up with as well. Please, whoever owns Washington, change that pathetic W.
I wish they would just go back to the Washington football team, by the way.
I don't want that.
Well,
You need a nickname. I guess Commanders is what you're going to get, but you can come up with a better logo than that half-witted W that took them 2 years to figure out. I just think it's awful. They got great colors, historic colors, and they blew the logo. All right, let's move on. Lamar Jackson.
Wait. Let me. So, I'm just looking a little bit more.
Okay.
Sean Merriman.
Lights out.
Sean Merriman, former 3-time NFL All-Pro and founder. Sean Merriman. You know Sean Merriman. San Diego Chargers. LA Chargers. He says, he tweeted out, Brian Davis doesn't have the funds. Tried to get me for $3 million. Took his ass to court and won $4 million. He owns a bunch of athletes' money, and the other owners will never approve this. Christian Laettner was his partner, too. I tried to get his home in Florida, but they have protection laws, so I put a lien on everything else.
Oh, man.
So maybe that's how there's not one reason.
Oh, wow.
I guess that's the reason.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cash money.
So, well, again, that's I couldn't imagine one reason why you wouldn't, but I guess if this is out there, stuff like this from a former player, I don't know. Maybe,
Josh Harris already has 2 franchises, and he's got Magic Johnson on his team. That seems like a pretty solid group of guys to own a team.
Yeah. Interesting.
Right?
Interesting.
All right, here we go. Let's move on to Lamar Jackson.
Please.
We just spoke about him possibly getting a $200 million deal from the Ravens. Well, the word on the street is he told the Ravens, look, I'll sign with you guys, but you got to go get me OBJ and D-Hop. Well, they got OBJ already. D-Hop is still on the market, probably going to be a free agent. What say you?
Whew. Odell Beckham, obviously, at one time, he was one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. He had one of the greatest starts to a career any wide receiver has ever had, but his career has been robbed in a lot of ways by injury, and he's coming off of a season where he didn't play due to injury after previously being in the Super Bowl and getting injured in the Super Bowl with the Rams. I would love to see it work out for Odell Beckham with the Ravens. I think he's going to go right onto the team and be the best wide receiver that they have. Mark Andrews obviously being their best pass-catching threat. But to me, DeAndre Hopkins, he's the more viable receiver right now.
He don't want to play in New York either.
No.
You see that?
No, I didn't.
He said he don't want to play in New York for the Jets. He does not want to play with the Jets.
Oh, well.
I don't know. If DeAndre Hopkins, to me, would be the priority. I worry about they already got Odell Beckham. Can they afford?
He's coming off an injury, too.
That's true, but DeAndre Hopkins has been more successful recently, I would say. He's been one of the best wide receivers in the NFL as recent ago as maybe a couple years. Odell Beckham is a little bit past his prime. I would love for it to work. That's a lot to ask. There's a lot to ask.
No doubt. Guys, I got to get one more break in. Come back. We can wrap up some NFL talk. Also, I did want to ask you guys about the USFL, if you paid attention at all, because I think this league is much better than the XFL. and I've watched them both, and I'll tell you why. Coming up next. But
NHL playoffs and NBA, too.
Oh, yeah, that's going on, too?
Yeah.
But
I
first,
just filled out my bracket.
Oh, hockey bracket.
Yep.
I love a hockey bracket.
Fill it
I
out.
hate the NBA that you can't do the bracket. Because you reseed, right, in the NBA?
NHL, let's go.
Come on. Guys, let me tell you about Custom Health Centers. Are you feeling tired, depressed, unmotivated, low sex drive, muscle loss, or belly fat? Testosterone optimization therapy is a safe and effective way for you to restore your vitality, confidence, and performance, and reduced heart disease. All you have to do is visit Custom Health Centers today. That's CustomHealthCenters.com. CustomHealthCenters.com. Or I don't know if that number on your screen is the same one I have here. So I'll just tell you, CustomHealthCenters.com.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan.
Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals in town. Plus, they will be all competitors by $5. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. Hottest bulbs, hottest deals, darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Hey, everybody, join Woodward Sports for our third annual Woodward Sports Draft Party live at 5th Avenue in Royal Oak this Thursday night. The past 2 years, these parties have been standing room only, so get your tickets early at eventbrite.com. Tickets are $10. Don't miss out on all the fun. Come on down.
Only $10.
Tell your friends. Only $10. Come on out. Tell your friends. Check it out at eventbrite.com. The Woodward Sports third annual draft party this Thursday at 5th Ave in Royal Oak.
Guys, I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but I will ask you if you did check into the USFL this weekend, opening weekend. I watched it, and actually, I found myself watching more of the USFL than the NBA playoffs. And I'll tell you, and that aside, the USFL, I think, has an opportunity to make it. And one of the things we talked about is how do these leagues make it? Quarterback play. And the quarterback play specifically for the team from Michigan, the Michigan Panthers, was pretty darn good. Josh Love, the offensive player of the week. They beat the Houston Gamblers this weekend. He looked like a pretty damn good quarterback. And the games were competitive. You were right there with in the coaches' boxes, in the huddles, on the sidelines. You know, how many times do you see player looking at a tablet on the sidelines? You had Devin Gardner out there interviewing the player, watching the tablet on the sideline. I mean, it was cool. I think we're a football-crazed society, and I think this football league is and should be a year ahead of the XFL, and I think it's a much better product than the XFL. Although I will say the XFL, the scene in St. Louis, nearly full stadium in St. Louis was remarkable.
I mean, they want an NFL team back. Yeah. Obviously, St. Louis isn't a huge market, but when they had the Rams, people showed up for them. So they just want a football team, an NFL team. They should have one. They should have one.
They lost the Cardinals and the Rams.
They did. That's so heartbreaking. But yeah, I did not watch the USFL. You kind of lost me, Ryan, when you said you watched more of that than the NBA playoffs. I personally love the NBA playoffs. I love the NBA. I'm a LeBron fan, so I'm hoping that he gets ring number 5. They start off with a Game 1 win at Memphis, so things are looking pretty good so far. So I was locked in on NBA playoffs. I'm not saying I hope the USFL fails. I'd love for it to work, but it doesn't do a whole lot for me when it's competing with NBA playoffs.
Listen, guys, I was the original USFL fan.
I know it.
I loved it. This ain't that. And I got a buddy, Darren Hill, who watches us all the time. And he's like, Maz, what are you watching, XFL or USFL? He's always asking me. And I'm like, neither. I just can't get into it. And I wanted to buy season tickets for the Panthers just for the fact that they were $25.
Get in for $10.
$25, Ryan, for the entire season.
Yeah.
For the entire season, I could have sat lower tier, corner of the end zone, for $25. And I still might do it just to say I got the tickets, and I'll give them to the kids if they want to go. You think I'm watching this over a baseball game?
Oh yeah, baseball too.
Forget the playoff. Forget basketball. I'll watch basketball here and there. I'll watch the hockey.
Basketball, you just need to watch the last 3
I'll
minutes.
watch hockey here and there.
Unless you got cash.
I'm watching baseball. I really want them to make it. It's not for me. The place is empty. It's not exciting.
I think they've done a really nice job with
it. Looks great. They got the names of the old teams and all. It ain't that.
Yeah. Well, I like the league. I'll take my kids to Ford Field. I think it'll be a great experience. And I'm rooting for the Panthers.
So am I.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for them. Rooting for the Philadelphia Stars who play here as well. Rooting for the New Jersey Generals who are going to play in cavernous MetLife Stadium, which is a joke. It's going to look like there's 50 people in the stadium at MetLife Stadium. Why couldn't they go play in a baseball stadium or play at the Red Bull Stadium, which is the perfect place for that team? But they picked MetLife Stadium.
There you go.
Not good.
Hey, Maz, you filled out your NHL bracket. Who you got?
I did. Let's put up the NHL playoffs. They start tonight. There's some great games going on. I gave you guys the series and who to bet, the favorites of each one. Let's look down at all of those. Flannel, who you like, Avalanche or Kraken?
I gotta go with Avalanche on that one.
How many games?
6.
Ryan, you got a pick there?
Avalanche,
all right,
clearly.
yeah, you take the next one. Throw it to me.
Who do you like, the Avalanche or the...
I'm taking the Avs. Never mind. Stars and Wild, Sam.
I'm going to go with the Stars on that one in 6.
I like the Wild, and I like the Wild to win the next round as well. Ryan, you got anyone in that one?
No.
Okay, good. All right. What's the next one there, Sam? My eyes are
Vegas
shot.
versus Winnipeg.
Vegas is top seed in the West. I'll take Vegas to win that in 5 games.
I'll probably have them sweeping, to be honest.
Top seed in the West?
Yeah.
Vegas?
Yes.
Vegas.
And what's that last one there, Sam?
Edmonton versus Los Angeles Kings.
This is a hell of a series. Who you like?
Edmonton.
I need Edmonton. Connor McDavid has to make it far in these playoffs. He had 153 points this season.
know.
He set his career high by 30. That's insane. He was already the best player in the NHL.
Be much better for the game
Thank
if Connor
you,
McDavid
yes.
continues.
I want the Oilers to win.
Yeah.
D-Mac thinks the Kings are a playoff tough, and they should win.
Is Kenny Holland still the manager in Edmonton?
Yes.
I think he is.
Still the manager.
Yeah. On the east side, the Boston Bruins broke the record this year. Most wins, most points.
Upset Florida Panthers.
You like the Panthers?
I do.
Panthers barely got in.
Ooh, I will take Boston in 6. I think Florida will play them very, very tough.
History repeats itself.
I'll take Boston the first round. Here's a game. It's the Leafs, who haven't won a series in how many years, Sam?
Many.
20 years? Against the Lightning, who are supposedly on the downside, but they got the best goalie in hockey.
Oh, I'm going Tampa all day.
God.
USA.
God, it has to be Toronto at some point, right? I read a crazy stat today. In the past 5 seasons, they have had 7-game first-round exits 4 of those seasons, including last year to the Tampa Bay Lightning.
They blew that.
If I'm the Toronto Maple Leafs, I am shaking in my boots that we have to play the Tampa Bay Lightning. But sometime they got to get one. They have to.
I'm going to take the Leafs to upset the Lightning.
Okay.
In this one. Next one, you got the Hurricanes, who are one of the best teams in the league, against the upstart Islanders.
I'll go with the Islanders in this one.
Wow. That's a huge upset.
Got to go Hurricanes in 5.
I got the Canes. And then the Devils and Rangers, a lot of hate in this one. This ain't 1994, but I think it's going 7, and I do think the Rangers are going to beat my Devils.
How cool would that be? The Rangers play the Devils and the Rangers play the Islanders. How cool would that be?
That would be awesome.
That would be cool.
That would be a review of the 80s.
Yeah, look at that.
That would be awesome.
All right, very good. Who you got winning the cup, Maz?
I got the Carolina Hurricanes on one side, and on the other, I picked 2 things. I picked the Hurricanes over the Oilers, and I picked the Oilers over the Rangers.
That'd be terrible.
Actually, I'm taking the Rangers. I picked them in the beginning of the year. Rangers over the Oilers.
That'd be terrible for hockey.
Rangers Oilers?
Oh no! Rangers Oilers would be great.
Yes.
You said
Not
Carolina.
Yeah, I know.
You know what would be great for hockey? Edmonton versus Toronto.
That's who I pick, and I know that it's a little bit hard.
That
but
would
still.
be incredible
Hockey
for
night
hockey.
in Canada.
That would be incredible for hockey. Or no, it's got to be Edmonton. There's nobody in the West. Vegas, maybe. I mean,
Avalanche repeat.
You mean people won't be lining up for a Florida Panthers Dallas Stars series?
Hey, people lining up to watch you, Sam Flannel. Absolutely. Thanks for pinch hitting here. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Thanks. We love you all. Subscribe, woodwardsports.com.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.